Through the station they thundered. Disaster lay ahead. Something sticky splashed all over James. He had run into 2 tar wagons and was black from smoke box to cab. He was more dirty than hurt, but the tar wagons and some trucks were all to pieces.
Heave ho, you can pull, but we won't go, sang the trucks. This made Diesel very cross. He pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled. Help! Grease and oil, Diesel sulked.
Thomas was puffing too fast round the bend. He toppled off the track. His load crashed down the bank. "Oh no," cried Thomas. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Now for my plan, thought Thomas. Pumping the trucks fiercely, he jerked his driver off the footplate and followed them into the siding. "Come back!" yelled his driver. "Fire and smoke," said Thomas. "I'm sunk." And he was.
Hit the points, came off the rails, and ended up in a pond.
Go on, they yelled, and bumped Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate. "Oh!" said Percy, sliding past the board. Percy was frantic. "That's enough!" Suddenly, Percy found that he couldn't stop. The buffers didn't stop him either. "Oh!" wailed Percy. "Help!" The buffers were broken and Percy was wheel-deep in coal.
But just then, Diesel oiled round the bend. Diesel was surprised to see all the engines. He screeched to a halt. Rolls of bunting went everywhere. No one told me there was another photograph. Thomas knew he had to slow down now, but he couldn't. Thomas's brakes had stopped working altogether. Fizzling fireboxes, what can I do? With a clang and a crash, Thomas clanked off the rails. His flatbed bashed his buffers with a bump. The last of the special blocks fell from his flatbed into the water. Cinders and ashes. I've lost some of the special blocks. Next morning, as James was being repainted, Henry had an accident.
If you can't push trucks properly, Henry, why not talk to a tree instead? You know how much you like the forest. As a matter of fact, Bossy Boiler, the Fat Controller is inspecting the island for trees that are too close to the line. He's worried they might cause trouble. Ha! Laughed James. If I came upon a tree, I'd just push it aside.
Thomas raced into the yard. Percy was coming the other way. Whoa! Thomas bumped straight into Percy and the bunting flew up into the air. Percy's freight cars came off the track and so did Thomas. "You've spilt my bunting," moaned Percy. "I'll never find the tuba player now," groaned Thomas.
But just ahead was a stretch where the hot sun had bent the rails on the track. "Careful, Thomas," called his driver, but it was too late. "That's done it," said his driver. "We shan't get any further today." "But what about my passengers?" "Don't worry, they'll be looked after," replied his driver. "Here comes Gordon," whistled Thomas. "And here comes big strong Henry." Who said Henry? Then there was trouble. The trucks were very heavy. Once Henry had started them rolling, they wouldn't stop. "Help!" cried Henry. Later, Thomas was travelling home on the same line. He was pulling trucks filled with vegetables. The signalman had forgotten to warn his driver about the crossing. "That's nice, we don't need to stop," said Thomas happily.
Yes, we do.
Called his driver, but it was too late.
"I'm glad I'm a splendid engine," he puffed. "Sir Topham Hatt thinks I'm really useful. I had a race with Bertie once. I whooshed through the tunnel and stopped an inch from the buffers." Then Thomas made his mistake. "Just like this," he boasted.
But Thomas wasn't listening. He was sure the end of the rainbow was just around the corner. Then there was trouble. Thomas clipped the telegraph pole and they all came off the tracks. Luckily, no one was hurt. "Cinders and ashes!" Thomas cried.
When he approached the chocolate factory, his driver applied the brakes, but Percy's wheels just skidded on the oily rails. "Oh no!" hooted Percy. "Yuck!" he groaned. "I've never been this dirty." He was covered from funnel to firebox in sticky, gooey chocolate.
Frantically trying to grip the rails, Percy slid into the yard. "Beep! Beep! Look out!" The brake van was in smithereens. Percy's driver and fireman had jumped clear, but Percy was stranded.
A goods train was waiting in the siding to let the flying Kipper pass, and the driver and fireman were drinking cocoa in the brake van. "The Kipper is due," said the guard. "Who cares?" said the fireman. "This is good cocoa." The driver got up. "Come on, fireman, back to our engine." They got out just in time. Henry's driver and fireman had jumped clear before the crash, but Henry lay dazed and surprised.
Suddenly, there was a deep rumbling sound. Thomas's driver applied the brakes, but it was too late.
"Cinders and ashes!"
Cried Thomas,
"We're stuck!"
and they were. Out on the branch line, Percy was having trouble with trucks.
Faster we go, pull him along, don't let him slow."
"Help!" cried Percy. His driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. He went off the rails at Bulgy's Bridge. Percy was so surprised, he bashed and crashed into a siding and straight into a heap of coal.
Flatten my funnel.
Ahead was a landslide blocking the line. Henry braked hard, but the freight cars hit some of the rubble and plunged into the ravine. Just then,
"Now for our plan," giggled the cars. "Go faster, go faster." They pushed Thomas over the switches. "Slow down," called Thomas's driver and applied the brakes. Poor Thomas stood dazed and surprised in a muddy pond.